Going live at 8 p.m. Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. This is Dr. Don's weather page going live at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. Good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you in Dr. Don's Weather Center. The PrimeTime forecast. This is a rare occasion. We are doing it live tonight instead of pre-recorded. We welcome all of you in. Coming up over the next 30 minutes or so, we will talk about the possibility of some white stuff across East Alabama and West Georgia. We're going to call this Christmas Blast 2020. So let's get started. First of all, let me remind you to go over to paypal.me/PayPal/Dr. Don WX to support Dr. Don's weather page. We appreciate all of our partners, and we depend on all of you to keep us going here at Dr. Don's weather page. So paypal.me/Dr. Don WX. It's quick, fast, it's secure. You don't even have to have a PayPal account. We appreciate anything you can do to support Dr. Don's weather page. All right, let's talk about the Storm Prediction Center convective outlook for Christmas Eve. Maybe a few respectable thunderstorms across East Alabama in the pre-dawn hours of Christmas Eve morning. A better chance of heavy thunderstorms down in southeast Alabama, northwest Florida, also down into southern Georgia, South Carolina, and then up there in North Carolina, a little bit of concern there. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather out there in northeast North Carolina, up there around the Outer Banks, Atlantic City. So that area needs to be careful, especially first thing on Christmas Eve morning or maybe around noontime on Christmas Eve morning. All right, so I know that 99.999% of you are here for one reason, though we're going to talk about a lot over the course of the next few minutes. I want to go ahead and tell you what the white Christmas chances are for East Alabama. Now, we've been talking about this for over a week, even when the National Weather Service was not, and when a lot of other folks were saying no chance of a white Christmas across East Alabama or West Georgia. Well, Dr. Don's weather page has been telling you now for about 7 days that, typically we have a 0 chance. This year, that's not the case. Now, we most likely are not going to wake up Christmas morning and have a white Christmas outside. Now, I can almost tell you that's not going to happen. But could you see a snowflake or two Christmas Eve, and during the overnight hours and into first thing Christmas morning? Yes, I think you certainly could. As a matter of fact, I think there is a very good chance that there will be flurries around East Alabama and West Georgia after sunset on Christmas Eve and maybe up until around mid-morning Christmas morning. The problem we have here is, though, it's not going to happen everywhere. These are going to be snow showers or snow flurries. They may set up in bands across the area, so that may mean that you could have snow flurries in your front yard, but just down the street they don't see anything. That's just the nature of what we're looking at here. This is not a classic setup for snow across the southeast. We have to have things set up just perfect for us to get snow, because it's not supposed to snow in the southeast. So this is not one of those setups. This is a strong cold front that's going to be moving through, and then cold air is going to come flooding in on the backside. If there's enough moisture left by the time the cold air arrives, then it may squeeze out a few snowflakes. So it's not going to be widespread, and it's not going to be any type of meaningful accumulation across the area. It's just scattered flurry here and there. Now, the quote that you see at the bottom of the screen is from the National Weather Service office in Birmingham. It remains a question of remaining available moisture, but there remains potential for some light flurries across the north and northeast counties later Thursday afternoon and into Thursday night. While ground temperatures are cooling, it will remain well above freezing, so no concerns on blacktop or ground surfaces. Now, the exception to that may be along and north of I-20, and we're talking about elevated surfaces such as bridges and overpasses. But down in, Clay and Randolph and over into Hurd and south of that line, there are really no issues expected with any type of black ice because the wind is going to be ferocious, and that's going to dry things up before we get way below freezing. I'll tell you all about that coming up in just a few moments, but I do want to let you know that there is a chance that you could see a flurry or two. This would be on Thursday night, Christmas Eve night, into Christmas morning. But again, folks, understand, I'm not telling you you're going to wake up and the ground's going to be white and the kids are going to go outside and make a snowman. That is not going to happen, at least not in East Alabama or West Georgia. Now, if you get up there into North Alabama, the Tennessee Valley region, back over toward Fort Payne, Mentone, Lookout Mountain, yes, the ground could be white up there Christmas morning. And then across North Georgia, we could see some dusting, maybe the higher elevations up to an inch or inch and a half. I'll show you more about that in just a few moments as well. While we're here, let's look at that. If you're in North Georgia, I know that we have several folks from East Alabama spending Christmas up in Helen, Georgia. So let me just kind of tell you what I think is going to happen up there. We may be looking at some light snow accumulations possible up in the Blairsville area, Blue Ridge, back over toward Helen, maybe even over into Clayton, up to around Dillard, which is right there on the North Carolina-Georgia border, especially up into the Highlands, the Highlands up in North Carolina. They may actually get a couple of inches of snow up there. And then you see flurries for North Metro Atlanta, back out I-20 basically, and then north up into Rome, Dalton, Canton, Gainesville. Those areas are just looking at flurries. Some isolated pockets of dusting may be possible in those areas, but again, we're not looking at a major snowstorm here, even across North Georgia. It's going to be more of a novelty than anything. I still say, in Alabama and in Georgia, the big story here is going to be the cold temperatures and the horrible wind that we're going to have. Wind chill factors are just going to be ridiculous. I'll tell you about that in just a bit. Here's your national map in motion. Look right there toward the end. You'll see that blue pop up across North Alabama and North Georgia. This model thinks that we're going to see some snow showers or snow flurries across North Alabama, basically I-20 and north. But a few of those flurries could make their way into Cleburne, Clay, Randolph, Talladega. A couple of models are even showing some decent snow flurries as far south as Talladega, Coosa, Chambers, maybe even over into Troup County, Hurd County. So I think there's a decent chance we may see something out of this. Here's one other look from a different model I wanted to show you, and this is the storm coming through. There's the line clearing Alabama early tomorrow morning. Now here comes the snow. You'll see, let me see if I can slow that down for you. All right, let's see here. Let me bring it forward. Yeah, let's just let it loop, and then I'll stop it when we get to that point. I wanted to show you one thing. Right? Come on. Work with the fella. Bear with me, folks. We're going to get this. All right, right there. That's what I want to show you. Now, if you'll look real close, I know if you're watching this on a phone, it's kind of hard to see. This is one model's depiction of what we would be looking at. Let's see. This would be early. trying to figure out here. Let's see. Let me look at the times here. So that's out of here. All right, so then we go through the day. This would be on Christmas night or Christmas afternoon. I'm sorry. I'll get this right. Christmas morning. Christmas morning. Look at that. Across southeast Chambers County down into northern Coosa. Maybe right down there around Alexander City. That'll make you folks down there in Alex City happy. That's showing a pretty good little burst of snow. That's a little bit more than a flurry. That's more like a snow shower right there. But look back over in Georgia, and I want to point something out. You see that line of blue there just running right through the southern metro? That's what they call training. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen. We're going to have these narrow bands of flurries that are going to set up. And so you'll see that's only about 10 miles wide, if that. It may only be about 5 miles wide. So there will be folks who see snow, and then you go 3 or 4 miles down the road and there's nothing. And that's going to be the case here. This is not a snow producer for the southeast. Scattered flurries at best on Christmas Eve into early Christmas morning. Here's your Goes East Southern Mississippi Valley satellite shot. This is current, and you can see some of those colder cloud tops moving into central Alabama. We'll look at the radar in just a bit, and we'll also got some showers breaking out across North Georgia as well. Cloud cover taking hold now. Total rainfall amounts expected over the next 5 days. The bulk of this will be tonight into tomorrow morning, and then a small system moving by on Sunday night into Monday. But some pretty respectable snowfall or rainfall amounts there. We're looking at around 1 3/4 inches, maybe up to 2 inches of rain in some areas around East Alabama, and especially up there in northeast Georgia. So they could certainly see some periods of heavy rainfall tonight into tomorrow morning. I think the heaviest period of rain is probably going to be toward daybreak on Christmas Eve morning. Temperatures for your Thursday will be good at midnight tonight, then it's going to go bad. These are our high temperatures for Thursday, but we achieve these numbers at midnight tonight. So 12 a.m. Thursday morning, this is what the temperature is going to be, and then it goes south. 55 in Roanoke, Wadley, Wedowee, Woodland. Ranburn hits 54. 49 up at Goodwater. Talladega goes to 50. Lineville at 50. Ashland at 49. And Tallahassee will go to 56 degrees. But again, folks, that's not going to be tomorrow afternoon. That's at midnight tonight. By noon tomorrow, our temperatures will be at least 10 degrees cooler than this. And then by 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, a good 15 degrees colder than this. By sunrise tomorrow, or sunset tomorrow afternoon, Christmas Eve, we're going to be close to freezing across East Alabama and West Georgia. All right, let's take a look at what's going on out there right now. And we do have some showers in the area. And now the atmosphere was very dry when all of this stuff started moving in a couple of hours ago. So radar's been showing rain in some areas where it actually has not been making it to the ground just yet. But the column is moistening up and the rain will eventually start making it to the ground. But I think most locations have already seen at least a light shower. We had some heavier rain move right along I-20. It's now up there north of Atlanta Metro. Also some heavier showers over there in Troup County, right there where 85 and I-185 interchange. And so northern Harris, southern Troup, and that's moving up I-85 as well. Right now, not a whole lot going on as far as rain in Alabama. But if you look back over Mississippi, back over toward the Mississippi River, you can see there where that line of thunderstorms is moving through, and this is going to be the main line that will bring the chance of thunder through East Alabama and West Georgia, and that should come through in the pre-dawn hours tomorrow morning, maybe right around sunrise. So if you get rumbled out of bed with a clap of thunder or two, don't be surprised. And we could have some severe weather down in southwest Alabama. Notice down here just north of Alexandria, Louisiana, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect down there right now. All that, though, should stay well south of East Alabama, down there across Mobile, Baldwin, maybe the southern half of the state of Alabama, the southern third of the state of Alabama, running a risk of some strong to severe thunderstorms tonight. But again, that won't be a problem up here at the house. Now, let's take a look at your Futurecast radar. Now, this is one model's depiction of what's going to happen, so placement may not be exact. But we start this loop at midnight tonight, and here comes that line of thunderstorms I was just showing you live. And it makes it into East Alabama by around 5 o'clock in the morning. And you can see some pretty heavy rainfall there. It's all gone by about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then look at that white stuff popping up. Get out of here. We're going to let this loop through. Then we're going to come back, slow it down. And here are some more snow showers on Christmas Eve into early Christmas morning. All right, let's zoom in on East Alabama. There's Wedowee, Alexander City, Lynette, and here comes the heavy rain by 5:15 tomorrow morning. The heavy stuff starts to move into the area there with heavy rain across the western half of Randolph. Here we go at 6:15. Look at that. Heavy rain in Talladega, Sylacauga by 7:15. Raining heavily now in Alexander City, Lineville, Ashland, on up to I-20. And then as we get out there to around 8:15, heavy rain moving through Wedowee, Carrollton, down there around Lafayette, about to move into Lynette, still raining across the entire area. Then by about 9:15, that line stretches from Atlanta down to LaGrange. By 10:15, the rain starts to pull out of East Alabama and West Georgia, moving on over into Middle Georgia and East Georgia. Light showers continue. Look at there, though, by about 1:18. This is Thursday afternoon, Christmas Eve, showing some snow showers up there in northwest Clay County. That would be up there in the vicinity of Chehaw Mountain, which is not a big surprise. Maybe a few snow flurries down there around Sylacauga. Here we go at 2:03 on Thursday afternoon, showing some flurries up there across northern Randolph up into Cleburne County, back over toward Lineville, and then down there to the southeast of Sylacauga as well. And that stretches all the way up north of I-20 up toward Rome. And then by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, any snow showers remaining will move on over into Georgia. They're just to the east of Carrollton and just north of I-20 up there around Dallas, Georgia. And then as we go on into the afternoon, the precipitation moves out. Temperatures take a nosedive. Wind is horrible. Look at there, 10 o'clock on Christmas Eve night. Flurries across northern Clay, down across Wedowee. Here is 11 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Maybe some snow showers there just south of Wedowee along Highway 431 and back over toward Big Springs up there, the northeast part of Randolph County as well. Here's midnight on Christmas Eve, and I think by midnight, 1 or 2 a.m., it's pretty much out of here. Now let's look at North Georgia right quick. Because like I said, I know that we have several folks from East Alabama hanging in the North Georgia mountains this weekend. Here comes the rain. This is going to move through fairly quickly. Raining heavy by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then by about noon, the heaviest rain moves out of North Georgia. Look at that stuff right there. This is 3 o'clock on Christmas Eve afternoon. Snowing pretty heavily there from Young Harris down to around Jasper and Canton and back to the west. And now this is right on the tail end of the heaviest precipitation, so it may look like you're about to have a blizzard, but it's not going to last long. Here we go at 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve afternoon. Snowing pretty good now from about Clayton down to Helen, down to Dahlonega and Gainesville, even all the way down into North Atlanta Metro near Buford. Back over toward Blue Ridge, and Jasper, and Canton. And then by 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve afternoon, the snow continues across Helen. The back edge of it now from Young Harris to Helen to Dahlonega and Gainesville may have a brief change back over to rain because of a warm nose of air that may move in right on the tail end of this as well. And then by 6 p.m. Toccoa, back over to Banks County, down into Habersham County, snow is moving on out. And then we just have scattered flurries from time to time for the remainder of the night and into the first part of Christmas Day. Again, folks, let me caution you, this is one model's depiction of what may happen. This is not exact placement, and it certainly won't be an exact science there as well. All right, so let's look at the forecast right quick, and then I'm going to show you some webcams, and then I'll answer any questions you may have. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section. I'll get to that in just a few minutes. We'll do a little chit-chat here in just a few moments. If nothing else, please let me know where you are watching from. All right, so here's the forecast for Christmas Eve. A 90% chance of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder early in the morning. I think most of the rain is out of East Alabama by noon, 55-year high, but we'll achieve that in midnight tonight. Look at that, 24. Your overnight low for Christmas Eve. It will certainly feel like Christmas. Now, also understand, folks, the wind is going to be howling out of the northwest at around 15 to 20 miles per hour, maybe gusting as high as 30 miles per hour, which means our wind chill factors could easily dip down into the low 20s. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a few upper teens. We're talking East Alabama now, not North Georgia. It's going to be even worse than that up in North Georgia, maybe some single-digit wind chill factors in North Georgia. So understand that brutal cold and very strong wind, I think, at the end of the day, is going to be what we remember Christmas Blast 2024. So 30-mile-per-hour wind's pretty strong. That could actually bring down some trees, and we know what happens when trees start to fall. So keep that in mind. A wind advisory has been put in place for just about all of Alabama and Georgia. One thing you need to keep in mind, too, secure those Christmas decorations or just go ahead and bring them inside. You know, those inflatables mainly is what I'm talking about. Those things aren't designed for 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if you have a lot of decorations in your front yard, you might want to make sure they're secured or go ahead and bring them inside, or they're going to be scattered all over the neighborhood by the time you get up Christmas morning. We're going to be caught between a tight pressure gradient. That's what's going to be causing all the wind, and these are non-thunderstorm winds that we're going to be dealing with. So even if we don't have thunderstorms, it is going to be extremely windy starting around midnight tonight and lasting throughout most of the day tomorrow. All right, so on Christmas Day, we go mostly sunny, 35, though. That's all we will do. I mean, we just barely get above freezing on Christmas Day. And then the coldest night so far, we go down to 20 degrees on Christmas night. For Saturday, your Christmas weekend, 45 and sunny, 26 on Saturday night. Sunday, sunny, 54 down to 32. And then Monday, a weak system will swing by, giving us about a 20% chance of a shower, 56. And then out there on Tuesday, the 29th, mostly sunny and 55 degrees. As we head toward your new year, let's look at the extended. Wednesday, the 30th, maybe some rain showers, 61. On the 31st, New Year's Eve, 60. Overnight low of 38. And then on New Year's Day, sunny and cool, 59. The first, or the second, I should say, of January, 60 out there on Saturday, partly cloudy. Sunday, partly cloudy, 63. And on Monday, back to some rain out there on January. Golly, I'm wishful thinking about July. January the 4th, heavy rain possible, 56 for your daytime high. All right, folks, there you go. There's Helen, Georgia. This is a live shot of downtown Helen, and I'm going to kind of let that play for just a few moments while I go over here and take a look at the message board. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you would like to ask any questions, please do so. And please let me know where you're watching from. Weather conditions right now in Helen, Georgia, it's about 46 degrees with a calm wind. And as you can see, there is no snow on the ground right now. That could change by this time tomorrow. I have not received any rain up here just yet as well. Watch real close. They've got a new Christmas train. That thing may come down the road here in just a few minutes. You'll get a glimpse at it. So let me go ahead and take a look at some of these comments. Merry Christmas, Melissa Hughes. Thank you. Laura's watching us in Roanoke. Doris is in Roanoke. Hello, Beverly Pike. Sharon is watching us in Ashland, Alabama, home of God's country. Chatsworth, Georgia. Hey, Mike, thanks for watching. Forrester's Crossroads, Miss Michelle, thank you. Laura is watching us in Wedowee. Gibsonville, Alabama. Kevin, and I'm assuming that is Stephanie Williams. Terry is in Roanoke. Jennifer is watching us in Newell, Alabama. Hey, if If our long-range model is correct, Newell might get a nice little decent snow shower out of this thing. Y'all went all summer without any rain. Now you're going to get snow and nobody else is going to get in it. Wouldn't that be something? There's Chris Smith in Pine Hill, Alabama. That's down there in southwest Alabama. Know where it's at. Used to be a paper mill down there back in my, way back in my younger days. I worked for a company that went down there and took that thing apart. Spent many days in Pine Hill. That's probably the coldest place in the state of Alabama, believe it or not. Let's see. Dawn is watching us in LaGrange over there in Troup County. Thanks, Dawn. Karen Pearl watching from Roanoke. Marissa is in Laverne, Alabama. Hello, Laverne, peanut capital of the South. Spent many a day in Seagrove Beach, Florida. Grew up in Prattville, Alabama. So guess where I went through just about every weekend? Laverne and Brantley. Headed to the beach. Pam and Mark Johnson, Merry Christmas to you guys. Susan Denton in Wedowee. Mike's praying for a white Christmas. Mike, you're closer to the area where the snow will fall, so it's probably not going to happen, but we can't completely rule out a dusting up there in northwest Georgia. There's Rita White, Sharon Wilder. Carol is in Wedowee. Elaine is in Wedowee. There's my lady Sandy Knight. Merry Christmas to you, Sandy. Ken Wilson is in Wedowee. Jackie Kimbar's in Newell. Our ratings are pretty good in Newell, Alabama. I just got to tell you. We've got Newell wrapped up. There's Beth Denny in Ellijay. Beth, you're in a good spot. If you're a snow lover, Beth, you're in a good spot in Ellijay. Carol says that she's praying for a little snow. Darlene is in Wadley. I'll be in Wadley. That's right. I will be spending Christmas. Well, I'll be out there in the burbs. I'll be in the Corinth community. That's on the outskirts of Wadley. That's over on the east bank. Wadley's on the west bank. Corinth is on the east bank. That's where I'll be. Beverly Pike saying let it snow. Tallapoosa, Georgia. Sandy? You're right there along I-20. So you're in that area that could likely see a little bit more. I'll be coming pretty close to Tallapoosa tomorrow afternoon, headed down to Alabama. Denise Willis in Roanoke, Bruce Davidson, Wadley. Coosa County, there's Patricia. Kelly East is in Delta, up there in Clay County. Not a bad spot for you either, Kelly. You're up there in the higher elevations of Clay County. So, the higher elevations of Clay and Randolph obviously stand a better chance than anybody else. You're talking that northern half of Clay, and in Randolph, the northeast corner, up there on the hill. Higher elevation, temperatures a degree or two cooler could make all the difference in the world. There's Joseph Hawker. Uh-oh. I clicked on something I shouldn't have. I lost you there for a second. I'm back. There's Coach Carolyn Battles. She says, Dr. Don, I like sand, not snow. Merry Christmas, dear friend, and a very happy new year. Coach and I sure would love to see you and hope that Santa brings you everything you ever want. I've already got everything I ever wanted. Just been able to spend time with you guys, even if it's through modern technology. That's all I ever ask for. And, the family is healthy and well. Everybody's doing good. So I have already got all I want, but it sure is nice hearing from you, Miss Carolyn. Sure is good seeing you. Tell Coach I said hello. Y'all are my favorite. Joe's mother lives in Blairsville. I didn't know, Joe. Sharon Willis is watching. There's Bama Holloway watching us in Mellow Valley, Alabama, over there in Clay County. Josh Caldwell, Ranburn. Hey, yeah, Josh. Yeah, Sharon, I know you're in Alexander City. I showed that graphic a few moments ago of that burst of snow right there between Kellyton and Alex City. I figured you probably jumped out the window when I showed that. Hey, please, though, don't forget that is a model's depiction of what it thinks is going to happen. And oftentimes, specific placement of certain weather elements are generally off this far in advance. So the odds of that developing exactly like that they're there, but it's slim. Mandy Williams is in Wadley. Rita is in Ashland. Pam Halsey, Merry Christmas, Roanoke. Tricia Birdsong is in Wadley. Mary Waltrip watching from Hogansville over there in West Georgia. Sharon Smith, hello from Roanoke. Just want to see a few snowflakes. Well, Sharon, I think I might be able to pull that off for you. It's not going to be much. I certainly won't be a white Christmas, but, white Christmases aren't supposed to happen south of the Mason-Dixon line. Snow isn't supposed to happen south of the Mason-Dixon line. So anytime you get snow, number one, and on Christmas, number two, that is a major rarity. And after all we've been through this year, I think we are due a little snow on Christmas. So I hope it happens. Ray Clark is over in Lineville. Crystal Lewis is in Bon Air. Louisville, Kentucky. Marquita. Well, Merry Christmas to you from the North Georgia mountains, East Alabama, and West Georgia. Nice to have you in here with us. And Sandy Stevenson watching us from Virginia. Thank you, Sandy, for tuning in. I will be in Northeast North Carolina New Year's week, so I won't be far from you, Sandy. Oh, my video messed up on me. Let me see if I can get that back up. And okay, so that's Helen. Now let's do this. Let me take you to one other camera. This is downtown Auburn. I just want to look and see. Looks like the rain has subsided in downtown Auburn. This is Toomer's Corner. It was raining pretty good there a few minutes ago, but it looks like that has subsided. All right, folks, if you have any snow questions, here's your opportunity to ask away. If I have left any doubt in anybody's mind on what I think is going to happen, if you don't completely understand what I'm telling you here, this is where you ask those questions. Hey, Lorraine Morris. Lorraine is hanging up here in my neck of the woods. As a matter of fact, I work with Lorraine. I appreciate you tuning in every time we go live. Freddie Brewer is in Rock Mills. Now, Lorraine is up there in an area that could see maybe a little bitty T90 white Christmas. She's up on the mountain between Dahlonega and Blairsville, actually closer to Blairsville. So yeah, it certainly could get white up there. Worst case scenario or best case scenario, depending on how you want to look at it, Lorraine, 1.5 inches. Worst or best case scenario, however you want to look at it, just a light dusting. So anywhere between a light dusting and 1 inch to 1.5 inches possible up there on the hill where you're at. And then as you go further south, as you get out of the Appalachian chain of North Georgia, and you get down, just north of I-20, just flurries to a dusting possible. And then you get south of I-20, nothing to maybe a flurry or two. That's kind of what we're looking at here, folks. I'm telling you, the big story, once all this is said and done, is not going to be any snow that falls. It's going to be the brutal wind and cold. We're talking wind chill factors where Lorraine is at, maybe in the single digits. I get down there around I-20, wind chill factors in the teens. You get south of I-20 in Alabama and Georgia, wind chill factors in the mid to low 20s. With a howling northwest wind, running 15, 20, 25 miles per hour with an occasional gust at the 30 miles per hour. I'm just looking at Toomer's Corner, and I can see the camera is already swaying in the wind, so that pressure gradient is already kicking in. And these are not thunderstorm winds that we're going to be talking about, folks. This is just because we are stuck between two weather systems, and it tightens that gradient up, and so the winds, we get kind of in a squeeze play here, and so the wind is just going to be ferocious throughout the day on Christmas Eve into Christmas Eve night, and even into Christmas morning. I think the wind's going to be running pretty heavy. We have a wind advisory in effect for most all of Alabama and Georgia. We have a winter weather advisory for a few counties in North Georgia. And, you can see that if we go back to, if I can find my cursor. There we go. There it is. All right, so we go back to the radar, and let me take there it goes. Okay, now these are the advisories that are in effect in Georgia. The counties in green, that is a winter weather advisory. And the winter weather advisory is for Murray, Fannin, Gilmer, Union, and Towns from 1 p.m. Thursday to 1 a.m. Friday. There could be some slippery roads, a mixture of rain, snow, and sleet in the late afternoon. This would be on Thursday afternoon and early evening. Changing over to all snow, average snow amounts of 1/4 to 1 to an inch. 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch. The way they word some of these, and Lorraine's shaking her head, she knows what I'm talking about. Average snow amounts of 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch will be typical. Local higher amounts up to an inch, 1.5 inches are possible at elevations above 2,000 feet. Black ice could also develop after the precipitation has ended, especially in the sheltered areas on bridges. Again, that's for Murray, Fannin, Gilmer, Union, and Towns counties of extreme North Georgia. Now, the blue outlined counties is a special weather statement. And I won't read all of the counties because it's basically from South Atlanta Metro all the way to the Tennessee and North Carolina state lines. But the verbiage says light snow accumulation and black ice possible Thursday afternoon into the overnight. Storm system will move into the area tonight into Christmas Eve. Initially, it will bring heavy showers with a small threat of strong winds. On the backside of the system, Thursday afternoon into the evening hours, we could see a transition to rain, sleet, and snow, and then all snow briefly before ending. Therefore, anticipate just some light snow flurries into the first half of Christmas Eve, with the precipitation moving out quickly. Accumulations will be very limited with a dusting to a half inch in general and perhaps approaching an inch in the highest elevations of Dade and Walker counties. In addition to the light snow potential, cold air rushing in could allow for some black ice to develop. Even after the precipitation has ended, winds should help dry things out a bit, though, before we see any widespread black ice issues. Now, folks, worst case scenarios way up here in North Georgia, and then down here, I think Atlanta Metro and South Metro, we're just talking flurries at best down here. That's just the type of weather system we've got. This is not going to be a snowmaker. This is not a low-pressure system moving through the Gulf of Mexico with cold air already in place across the southeast, and that's exactly what we have to have in order to get a good snow across most of Alabama and Georgia. Now, there is an advisory in effect for a good chunk of the state of Alabama, and this is a wind advisory. Turn that on so you can see, and that covers just about the entire state of Alabama, with the exception of the extreme southeastern counties. And the only reason it doesn't cover it down there is because they live in an area where they deal with winds like this all the time, so this is no big deal for them. Otherwise, they would be involved in this as well. So I'll read you the verbiage for this. A wind advisory is in effect from 6 p.m. this evening, so it's already in effect until noon on Thursday. Winds 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. They've upped it a bit. All of central and east Alabama from 6 p.m. this evening through noon on Thursday. Gusty winds could blow around unsecured objects. That's why I'm talking about if you have Christmas decorations in your yard. You know, I know it's Christmas, and this is what you put them up for. But, folks, if you don't make sure they're secure, you may get up Christmas morning and they're around the block. So do what you got to do, even if it means taking them down, and you got to get it done because the wind's already starting. Tree limbs could be blown down, and a few power outages may result. And they say this too, any holiday decorations should also be tied down and secured. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a few power outages across the area as we go into tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. I just want to look down here. It looks like we've got a tornado warning. Now, this is nowhere near us, but I'm just curious. I want to look at it right quick. That is a tornado warning for Alexandria, Louisiana. At 8:35, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Alexandria, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Let me turn these advisories off and turn the radar back on. Some of these heavier storms could move into southwest Alabama later tonight. So, basically, we had somebody in here from Pine Hill just a few moments ago. So if you're in Pine Hill down here in southwest Alabama, pay attention to what's going on off to your west, because some of this stuff certainly could make it up into southwest Alabama. I think, though, as it gets closer to Alabama, the northern end of this will probably calm down a little bit because it's going to be significantly cooler by the time it gets into Alabama. But down here in Mobile, Baldwin area, northwest Florida, it's going to stay warm down there during the overnight. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see some severe storms down there. But if you're in Pine Hill and south across southern Alabama, pay attention to the weather later on tonight into tomorrow morning. All right, let me go back up here and see if any other comments have been made. There's little John Boy. Merry Christmas to you, Johnny. I am so happy to see that you did your honeydew errands this afternoon and that Lisa got her snow globes from Jefferson. It's all over Facebook. She's happy. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep your wife happy. So good boy. Merry Christmas to you, Sandy. Grady Brewer's watching us over in Rock Mills, Alabama. Merry Christmas to you, Lorraine. Yeah, Lorraine, I was talking about the Blairsville area and the snow that may fall there. She's saying as long as folks stay smart and stay safe and we can enjoy the day off. Lorraine's an emergency manager just like I am, so she's like me, it's a double-edged sword. I'm a snow lover just like the rest of you, or most of you. But that typically means I have to go to work. So it's you have to take the good with the bad. So if everybody would just stay home and stay off the roads, it wouldn't be that big a deal. That's what she's talking about. We appreciate y'all, Lorraine. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, Mickey. Well, thank you, Charles. I'm glad you enjoyed the Christmas music. It is a little festive, if I say so myself. Well, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you listening to my weather forecast on 90.9 God's Country with Moon and the Coach. I've been doing that now for, I've been doing it since the day they went on the air, which has been, a year and a half ago? It's been a minute. Really enjoyed doing that. They've got a great thing going over there, and you folks that, it's a low-power station, so you can't hear it too far away from Ashland, Alabama. But with modern technology, you can listen to it anywhere in the whole wide world. All you have to do is go to my website, drdonwx.com, go over to the God's Country page, and download the Mixler app. And you can also go to your smartphone, Play Store, or wherever you get your apps from, and download the Mixler app, and then Bluetooth your phone to your automobile radio, and then search for WFAZ, and you can listen to God's Country anywhere in the whole wide world, as long as you have internet service. Good programming, good mixture of gospel and country, and it's just good family programming, and those nuts that do the morning show, you just never know what you're going to get. It's very entertaining. Merry Christmas to you, Gail. Woodland, Alabama. All right, folks, so just to kind of recap one quick time here on what we're looking at. Major storm system moving into the southeastern United States. We're calling this Christmas Blast 2020. Cold front, very strong cold front, already bringing some rain into the area, though we haven't seen anything severe in Alabama or Georgia. We are looking at severe storms back into Louisiana. We think those severe storms will stay south of the Meridian to Montgomery, to Macon and Savannah line. You folks down there in Alabama and in Georgia and northwest Florida need to pay attention to what's going on during the overnight tonight and into tomorrow, because there certainly could be a few warnings down there. North of that line, up into East Alabama and West Georgia and on up into North Georgia, we're just looking at rain for the most part, with the main line moving through toward daybreak tomorrow morning. You could hear a rumble of thunder or two, but we don't anticipate anything severe. After the rain moves through, temperature's going to nosedive. Our high temperature for Thursday will be achieved at midnight tonight, and by the time we get to noon tomorrow, we should be in the mid to low 40s. And by the time we get to sunset on Christmas Eve, we should be in the mid to low 30s. As the rain moves out and we get a little bit of that cold air mixing in, we may start seeing snow flurries across the area. Now, folks, understand it does not have to be 32 degrees to see a snowflake. It could be, I've seen snow flurries at 38, 39 degrees. And you say, well, how in the world is that possible? Well, that means that just off the surface, it's below freezing. It's just not above freezing or below freezing at the surface. You go 15, 20, 30, 40, or 50 feet above the surface of the earth, and it's 32, but at the surface, it's 38. The snow just doesn't have time to melt by the time it hits the ground. So once we dip below 40, tomorrow afternoon, start looking for the possibility of a snowflake or two. And that's what we're going to be looking at. This is not going to be a blizzard. This is not going to be a snowstorm or anything like that. Even in the North Georgia mountains, it's not going to be that. I think north of Atlanta and certainly up into the mountainous region of North Georgia, there is a chance that you will wake up Christmas morning with the ground covered with snow. But if you do, it won't be much, half inch to an inch. Extreme highest elevations could get a little more than that. And then back down in East Alabama and West Georgia, we're just looking at scattered flurries anytime Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. I'm thinking probably by noon or 3 a.m. Christmas morning, that chance is completely gone. But then the wind and the temperature is going to be the deal. I'm telling you, we're talking wind chill factors in the single digits across North Georgia and in the 20s, at least, if not low 20s, across East Alabama and West Georgia, with a howling northwest wind gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. Make sure that you secure all of those outdoor decorations and be safe out there, folks. And I want you to have a very Merry Christmas. Now, I'm going to take a little time off. I will probably get out a weather forecast for Christmas Day. We'll post that in the morning. And then Christmas Day and Saturday, I'll just be posting on Facebook if there's anything to post about. And right now it looks like there won't be. Our next chance of rain comes in Sunday night, but it's going to be just a very weak system passing to our south. No big deal there. So I hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas. Hope Santa is good to all of you. Don't forget to track Santa Claus tomorrow night. You can go to NORAD.com and see where Santa Claus is at any given time across the United States or across the world. So check that out, and I may post some Santa sightings myself. Got somebody down in Watkinsville, Georgia, that'll probably let me know when he shows up down there. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your Christmas Eve. And again, Merry Christmas to you all. And we'll see you back in here tomorrow for your Christmas Day forecast on Dr. Don's weather page.